Hey everybody, I'm Paul. I make the cartoons and the Ask Napoleon videos here on this channel. Mr. Resnax asks, could you make a video on how you make these videos? Okay, so this is my how-to video on how I make my Ask Napoleon videos. And I will show you how I do it. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. You don't have to do it the same way I do, but this is how I do it. First of all, you're going to need a webcam or a camcorder, something where you can record video. It doesn't really matter as long as you have something. Secondly, you're going to need a microphone for the audio. It can be the built-in microphone on the camcorder or webcam. I would not suggest it if you can avoid it, because those are usually crappy, but it beats nothing. If you don't have anything else, that'll work. Otherwise, any kind of external microphone will work. I have my condenser mic here that I use, or you can use, like when I first started, I used to just use a cheap headset mic that was like $10-15. It doesn't really matter. The better the mic, the better the sound quality, but you can use anything. Next, you're going to need a photo editing program. It doesn't greatly matter what kind of program it is. I use Adobe Photoshop. You could use Adobe Photoshop Elements. You could use GIMP. You can use almost anything as long as you can save a file as a PNG. If you don't know what one is, think of a JPEG. A JPEG is an image file. Well, a PNG is an image file where you can save an area that is transparent or clear that you can see through. And that's how the Napoleon video works. It's a PNG file with a hole cut out for the mouth, and also behind them for the background occasionally, so that you can put that over my mouth or over a background. Next, you're going to need what I call an intermediate program. You don't have to have this. You could take the PNG and throw it right on top of your video in a video editing program, but I use the intermediate program as it allows me to see and make sure my mouth is in the right area and not moving too far out of frame as I record. Next, you're going to need a video editing program. It doesn't really matter what video editing program you use. I use Adobe Premiere Pro because I use the green screen function so I can move Napoleon around. You could use any video program that allows you to do chroma key, blue screen, green screen, or if you don't have a program that does, you could still do videos where the character doesn't move around. You could use Windows Movie Maker. I think you could do these videos minus moving the character around with free programs. There will be links to most of this below. Step 1. Okay, first of all, we need an image. I found an image of Napoleon online. I'm going to save it. Right-click on it, save image as Napoleon. Then I'm going to open up Adobe Photoshop. You can use any photo editing program. So let's see, we're going to open it. And there we are. There's the picture we saved. And then we're going to start a new one. We're going to use 640 by 480. The reason I'm going to use those dimensions is that's what my webcam captures in. You could really do any dimensions, but that's kind of like, for computers, the standard old 4:3 square. You could do an HD one, but that's what I'm going to use right there. Now I'm just going to click on the other picture, and I will drag it into the new one. I will close the other one because I don't need it anymore. Let's see, I'll make this take up a bigger room. And you can see over here on the right, this is our layer right here, the Napoleon layer. Turn off the background one. And then we're going to resize this, so I will just free transform it. Hit chain to keep it proportional. Let's see, we'll find... I'm just throwing some numbers in there just to find something good. 250. There we go. And then yes, apply the transformation. I will grab the little move tool and move it down. And now what I want to do is I want to make this into a PNG file. I want to make this into an overlay, and as a PNG file where it'll have a transparent part where the mouth is so that you can see my mouth behind it. So I'll go up to the upper left, grab the lasso tool, and I'll just start clicking. Each click puts on a new point. I'm going to click around the mouth. And obviously when you do this, don't do it as quick as I am. I'm just quickly showing you. Once I've done that, I will hit delete. And now you can see there is an opening there where you can see the little squares. That's the background. I will go to Save for Web. And this is the most important thing here is you want to save it as a PNG file. And you want to make sure if you have the option, what you need is includes transparency for this program because you want the transparency on there. You want to be able to see through because you're going to throw this over your video. You could put this right into a video program with layers. You could just record your video separately and throw this on top, or you could do what I'm going to show you later. And I will just save this as Napoleon. It's going to save a moment. You could also use the lasso tool to pull out the background behind him. Obviously, you'd want to do a better job than I am now. I'm just quickly showing you, clicking a bunch and deleting. And you could drop something behind there. And to show you a better example, I will show you the file I usually use. This is the one I usually use. Originally, it was more or less like this. And when I used to do live shows, I would do live shows like that, where I'd have a static background. So what I've done is I've cut him out, and I've cut his background out. And then I just, let's see, we'll put on a new layer. Pick the color green. Obviously, you're going to want to pick, sorry about that, a specific green or blue for chroma keying. I will do that, and then just use the lasso tool again on the layer behind it, and click around. Delete. And there you go. Now you have one with a green screen. You would just have to save that as a PNG file, and then you could green screen that out in any program. Or, if you don't have that ability, we will open another file. Let's see, we're going to find a background picture. And I'll just grab one from the ones I use for the videos. Let's see, thumbnail. Pick this one. Move this down, and then we will just drag it. And you can see it's on the layer behind Napoleon. You could click and drag one layer on top of the other. You can resize it if you want, and then we'll just use the lasso tool on this new background again. We're just going to cut the same area as the mouth. It doesn't even have to be exact. You can, because Napoleon's layer is covering it up, it doesn't have to be close to exact. Hit delete. And now if we save it, we'll have this new background on. And you can put whatever background you want behind it. And then you can save this as a PNG file. We'll go to Save for Web again. Pick PNG. We want to make sure the transparency is clicked. And you can do this in other programs than Adobe Photoshop. There's Photoshop Elements, GIMP. I think GIMP's free. There are any photo editing program that will let you save as PNGs with the transparency. Then I will save this as Napoleon face. And we'll be ready to move on to the next step. Step 2. Next, you're going to want to open what I call your intermediate program. It can be Manicam, Webcam Max, XSplit. It could be other programs too, but I'm going to start with Webcam Max. If you see, Webcam Max is not free. It's like $30 or something. Manicam is free. Right now, XSplit is free because I think it's in beta. You might find other programs that are free. You don't necessarily have to pay, but Webcam Max isn't a bad program. It's not the one I use, but let me move the camera a quick sec. You can see in the upper right-hand corner that I have my device selected. If you click on there, you have your choices, and you can find your camera. Pick your camera. To get to this, you would click the little person icon top. Then you're going to want picture-in-picture, so you go down a few places. Click on that. Then you're going to click on Media File. You're going to go to Add. We're going to go to File, and we're going to go find our PNG file. And it's in the Napoleon thing. We're going to find our images, and we'll start with the one with the background. And then we'll just put that in the corner. You can just drag to resize it. And then it's that simple. Then you just have to adjust your camera. Easier said than done. Hello, it is I, the Emperor Napoleon. You just resize your camera so that Napoleon's the overlay on your video. It's that simple. And then in something like Webcam Max, there is a record button. You could record straight out of there. I don't know what good the quality would be or not, but that would be an option. Otherwise, you could capture it straight to your video editing program. In that case, you would look for Webcam Max and select that. This isn't the overlay I would use. I would use the Napoleon one here with the green screen, because later on when I edit the video, I'm going to pull the green out so I can move Napoleon around. But the other way will work too if you don't want it to move around. So we'll close Webcam Max a second. Manicam is pretty similar. The problem with Manicam, though, is that the overlays don't come out right now. Or instead of using Manicam or Webcam Max, you could use my current favorite, XSplit. It's currently free because I believe it's in an open beta, at least at the time of this recording. So let's take a look at XSplit. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go over to the right and pick a scene. It doesn't really matter which one you do. Whatever you do, it will save it, which is awesome. Next, you're going to want to go to the lower left, click Add. It'll say Add Source, add a camera, and pick whatever camera you're going to use. I'm going to use my USB camera, and there I am. Then I'm going to resize the video. It'll be a little choppy because of the way I'm recording it. It won't probably be for you. Next, I'm going to go to Add Again. I'm going to go to Media File, and I'm going to pick one of the Napoleon Napoleon images I made earlier. So we'll do the Napoleon green background one. We'll grab the corner and we'll just drag it and pull it up. And there we go. And then once again, just adjust the camera size. In this case, I'm just moving closer to the camera. I am the Emperor Napoleon. And yeah, you might be getting some lag right now, but that's because I'm running so many programs. Don't worry about it when you do it yourself. And this is how I do it for the green screen one. The great thing about this is in the lower left-hand corner, you can just uncheck a box and you can check it if you want the thing back on. And you could, if you wanted instead, you could add the other background, the one with the non-moving background, and there you go. Step 3. All right, so now I'm going to go open my video editing program. I'm going to use Windows Movie Maker. There's a lot of different choices you have. I'm going to go, when it's ready, go to Capture from Video Device. It's in the upper left corner, as you can see. And now I'm going to pick my source. You know, I can pick XSplit. I can pick, I don't have webcam Max up, or I could pick that. I'm going to go with ManyCam just because that's the one I have up, but you can use any one of those. I'll just go to Next. I'm going to go back one. Make sure that your audio is going through, because it sucks when you record and the audio is not. I'll give it a name. Napoleon. I spelled it wrong. Go to Next. You can pick what format you want it in, and just start capture. And you can see right there that, oh, right there that you have it. Hello, it is I, the Emperor Napoleon. And then what you can do is, I don't usually watch it in this. I'll actually open the program. We'll see ManyCam here, but I usually use the other ones so that I can see it better. I can see where my mouth is, and I can keep it in frame. So I'm not, without this, it's a lot harder to keep it in frame. So I can just keep it in frame. I can do all my lines. Hey, who's awesomer than me? Nobody, suck my wee-wee. And then when I'm done, just hit stop capture. And if you aren't using a green screen like me, if you're using your pre-recorded background or your still image that you set up earlier, then you just basically have to chop it into pieces and upload it. Then the next thing I do is I open Adobe Premiere Pro. If you're going to green screen it like I am, you're going to want to use anything where you can do chroma key, blue screen, green screen. It doesn't really matter to pull that green out so you can move your character around. So what you're going to do is, in this case, we'll start a new project. I'm going to use custom settings. You can use whatever you set your pictures up for. So mine were 640 by 480. I'm going to save it in my Napoleon one, and I will call it Ask Napoleon. And in this program, obviously, it's going to depend on what program you have. You can see here, I have video 1, 2, or 3. Video 1 will be the background layer. And so I will import something into that. In Adobe Premiere Pro, you can just click here, double click, and you can bring something in. Obviously, it will totally depend on what program you're using. Let's see, find my backgrounds. And I'll just pull out one of my new backgrounds I like to use. I will bring it down into video 1. I will drag it so it's bigger. And as you can see here, it's too big. You just see man titties. So I will click this little arrow by motion. Oops. I'll go to scale, and I'll just enter a new number, which will be 50. And once again, it doesn't have to be this complicated for you. You can readjust it in Photoshop or GIMP or whatever program you use. Then I will double click here again because I'm going to want to bring in a video file. So I'm going to bring one in from one of my episodes. And you can see down there, let me expand it so you can see it better. There's the audio view. And this is the reason why I green screen it. Let me just cut this video quickly a second. I'm going to pull some of these lines out. Okay, there I've quickly cut it for space. I will just slide this over the background. I'll scale the background so it's the same size, and I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. And now I'm going to want to go to Effects. I'm going to go to Video Effects. I'm going to go to Keying. And I'm going to use a color key. You can use a chroma key, a blue screen, a green screen. It all depends on what color background you have. I'm going to use the color key. I just drag it down onto the video. It'll bring it up here in my options. I will click the arrow next to it to expand it. I will take the eyedropper, click it on the green. For color tolerance, I'll just throw in a number. It'll just take some fine-tuning to get used to it. For edge thin, I'll just throw in a number. I know these by heart because these are just the ones I always use. Another one. And now you can see the green has been all pulled off. If I click the toggle on and off, you can see what it's like with the green, what it's like without. And now I can move him around. And if I moved him around, I would expand the motion thing. And then I would just mark a keyframe by clicking on position, move this up, move him to another spot. And it would automatically then at that point figure out what's in between. And that's basically it. And then it's just adding different things on top. You could just add another layer with a picture of the Super Bowl, of the football, whatever he happens to be talking about. So that's a pretty easy way. You can also, there's a rotation thing here. You can set keyframes for rotating. And then basically just export it as whatever kind of file you want to upload to YouTube. Usually I upload Windows Media files just because they're small. AVIs, QuickTime, whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. And then that's it. It's pretty simple. There's also other effects you can use. I'll go to Transform and scroll down. There's like horizontal flip. I can flip Napoleon. Now he's faced the other way. And you'll see it's right here, so you can get rid of it if you want and just delete it. Same thing with vertical flip. I can just grab it and pull it down and drop it on there. Now he's upside down. And that's basically all there is to it. It's pretty simple. I mean, it may seem complicated, but once you've done it once, it's really easy. And you don't have to do the green screen thing. That just gives you the ability to move them around and do some other cool stuff. So that's how I make my Ask Napoleon videos. I hope that inspires some of you guys maybe to try it yourself with Napoleon or any character. I mean, you want to have Ask Stalin? MPS 10001 did a video with Ask the Tsar, which was kind of cool. I've seen people do other ones. Basically, the sky's the limit on what kind of characters you could use. Whatever. So, best of luck, and thanks for watching.